Welcome back to We Connect. We continue our discussion with Peter Kronschnabl, who's the president of BMW India. Now, you've established these dealerships all over the country. Are you satisfied with the way that's going?
Oh yes, I'm very satisfied. We are ahead of schedule, and we have defined different Tier 1, Tier 2 and Tier 3 strategy. In all major Tier 1 cities we are represented, at least with one dealership. Now we are tackling the Tier 2 cities. We will increase or further increase this year from 17 to 24 dealers. All these dealerships are in Tier 2 cities because we believe that the future growth will come mainly or will be highly contributed from Tier 2 cities.
Right. We have been seeing here in this country that BMW is not, it's kind of creating some kind of an awareness. And I need to ask you now about the cars that your company produces in terms of taking care of the environment, emissions and things like that. So I think that's a very important area. Tell me about that.
Well, all the cars we produce in India, first, they are all the features, latest technology features are implied. When we talk now about, for instance, the new 5 Series, BMW Efficient Dynamics, the major points of that in the new 5 Series is the brake energy regeneration. While you brake, you recharge your battery. That causes less consumption of fuel. On the other hand, we have electric power steering. And third, we incorporated lightweight construction. On top of that, our engine management, low emission standards, etc. The problem is always in countries like is the fuel which is provided as well, is that already at the level that you can incorporate into the car all the latest technology. For instance, in Europe we are already at Euro 6, in India we are at Euro 3, but in the countryside only at Euro 2.
Right. Now, you have been in many different countries representing BMW, different parts of Asia, French-speaking Africa. So let me talk about that in the Caribbean as well. So what do you see as a difference in terms of running an operation in these countries as opposed to India? Any kind of parallels you can draw or anything that was not
obviously,
quite...
I started my career at BMW 14 years ago when I finished college. And growing in my career, I was once upon a time a sales director for importer markets. And that was Africa, Caribbean. And I was responsible for the French African territory, starting from Tunisia, Morocco, going further down, Senegal, Ivory Coast, Reunion Island, Mauritius, and Madagascar, among others. And obviously, when you work with importers, it's always different. Importers do an excellent job on a market where the potential is of a lower scale. When it comes to a market with a long-term, very important potential, then you have, as a manufacturer, to invest yourself into this market in order to exploit the opportunities the market is delivering to you, especially when we talk about production.
Right. In terms of actually creating awareness about the company and about the industry itself, there are lots of other things. So how in the world do companies actually, think up of all these ideas of getting involved in all sorts of different things?
Well, I was very much surprised coming from Europe in the year 2005 when we talked first time about how luxury is represented in India,
right.
Especially when we talk about the car market. There was no experience. There was no luxury car dealership in the country. And when we came, we said, okay, we have to be the best in the luxury segment. So we wanted to benchmark with that what was available, but there was no benchmark.
So you created one then?
So we created one. We said, okay, we benchmark BMW with our international standards. And we do everything what we do in India at par with our global standards. And you're coming from Chennai. I think one of the most beautiful buildings in Chennai is the BMW dealership in town, which you can't miss when you drive to Chennai.
Yes.
And that's what we did all over the country. We actually redefined the luxury segment. We gave experience to the customer, which he didn't have experience before. Because when we had one consultant at the beginning where we interacted a little bit, but after that, actually we terminated the consultancy because it went in the direction a car customer, especially in the luxury segment, would never come to a dealership.
Right. We're seeing that BMW is paying so much attention to the luxury segment and probably redefine the whole concept of luxury. I mean, we're seeing a car company suddenly talking about art and culture and so many other things, not just this is my car, it's beautiful, or buy my car.
Well, it's true, because once again, as you rightly mentioned, we redefined the luxury in India, in the car industry. I'm proud to say actually that a real luxury experience in India didn't exist. The first point of contact, for instance, a dealership looked, before we came, more like a covered parking. When we came, actually we said the first contact with a brand needs to be an experience. Therefore, we invested into the dealerships as well. And we did local adaptations. For instance, if you go in Chennai to Kun Exclusive, our BMW dealer,
Yes.
you will find a VIP lounge there. So, which actually in Germany, for instance, there is no VIP lounge. But in India, a 7 Series customer expects a special treatment. So we went in that direction. So true experience of the brand. And you would not believe, more and more customers come into our dealerships because they see their dream car or their aspirational car perfectly lit. They can experience it in a nicely environment, nicely air conditioned, enjoying a cup of cappuccino or whatever, alongside getting nicely hosted. It's an experience, it's a brand experience, and that contributes then also to the purchasing decision. On the other hand, when it comes to marketing, we not only did the BMW art cars, which we brought in 2007 to India, to the Jahangir Art Gallery in Mumbai.
Right.
BMW has a collection of 16 art cars. We brought 2 to India. There was the Roy Lichtenstein and the Andy Warhol. Both of these cars are worth more than 10 million US dollars. Painted, original hand painted by both these painters in the 70s. So, but we wanted to showcase to people also other things than just cars. On top of that, we invited school classes to paint it. So we had more than 20,000 visitors within 10 days.
It's such a, sorry to interrupt you, it's such a subtle sort of way of doing things, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, but also we wanted it, it's true, it's exactly what you have to do when you want to redefine something, when you want to create aspirations.
We, of course, are seeing car companies into a lot of other things. For instance, BMW itself, we've seen it being involved in art and display of things that are artistic and timeless and classic. So let's discuss that now.
Well, in 2007, we had the idea to bring actually a couple of our art cars. We have globally 16 art cars, and we started in the 70s in painting cars, giving to artists cars that they can do their masterpiece out of it. So we have now a collection of 16 cars. And in 2007, we got 2 cars to India, to Bombay, to the Jahangir Art Gallery, and displayed them. There was an Andy Warhol and the Roy Lichtenstein. We did it for 10 days. We had over 20,000 visitors, lots of school classes where the kids wanted to paint the cars, etc. We said it's admission free.
Is that a good way for all industry to be going, I was wondering?
Well, it's not a good way or a bad way, because not every car manufacturer has something like that. So we have it and we brought it, but that just is another piece in order to showcase to you what we do in order to establish us at par with our global levels.
Right. Peter, I'm going to ask you to hold on for just a few moments and don't go anywhere, because we'll get right back with you on Reconnect.